Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Gabby and I'm the Team Relations Director at Uniti, and together with Robin, our CMO, we will be your host tonight. First of all, I would like to thank you all for coming. It's so great to see all of you guys here tonight in our soon-to-be factory. And before we get the show started, we would like to talk to you about a couple practical information things. We have 5 fire exits, 2 on that side, 1 over there, 1 behind the stage, and 1 where you guys came in. And for those of you taking the shuttle bus, the last bus will leave at 22:30 for Landskrona station, sorry. Yeah, and then make sure that you're all tuned in on our social media to follow our progress and to see upcoming events. And when you post pictures from the evening tonight, yes, you will be able to post pictures of the car. Please use the hashtag TeamUnity.
Hi guys, it's really nice to be here. We would also like to thank all of the partners that made this possible. They should be on the screen here. There they are. Thank you so much, guys. And even though Uniti is located in Sweden, we consider ourselves a global company. We have right now 50 employees from 16 different countries, and Uniti has also been backed by more than 1,000 investors from 25 different countries. Can you please raise your hands in here if you're one of the investors? Amazing.
Wow.
It's almost half. Thank you so much, guys. Our U17 event is also being live streamed through our website. So welcome all of the guys that are watching us from wherever you are in the world. And I'm sorry you couldn't be here in Landskrona in south of Sweden. Today, we would like to take you on a journey to give you a clear idea of our brand and our vision. And we would like to start at the beginning. So please give a big applause for Bianca. Let the journey begin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is B. Let me place myself here. Tonight, I'm going to read you the brand poetry. This is something that me and Louis wrote a couple of years back, and hopefully this will give you a bit of an overview of why are we doing this, and more important, how. Brand poetry. Never has there existed a time in human history when we were so connected, enlightened, and empowered as we are today to decide the future of our civilization and the technologies that define us. Uniti is a new and unique type of electric city car, designed for a better path for automotive and to match the forefront of human evolution and civilization through the reinvention of city mobility. Reality check 2015. We make almost 100 million new cars each year, a number that has doubled over the past 10 years. We cannot continue with the current configuration, design, production, and distribution of cars as we know them today. For the amount of engineering, weight, cost, resources, and consequences these vehicles imply during their life cycle, their average journey will carry only a little bit more than a bicycle. Numerous studies show that more people die in many of our cities from vehicle emissions than from car accidents and many other dominant elements of our time. Some of the things we do to secure the energy to feed our mobility are things we will look back on with shame, where life, society, and ecology are wounded for the sake of not moving humans, but moving machines. This system is fueled by economic ambitions and not with the best interest of humans and our planet at heart. We are responsible for this, and it is our responsibility to enact change. To us, these issues are opportunities, motivations, and inspiration to enact change on an adventure of reinvention and shifting perceptions of cars as we know them. Human-centric design. Our evolution has taken a huge leap forward, warranting a new beginning. This means starting from the inside, with the needs and desires of the user. Experience and interaction. Uniti is for those that crave technology, with a vision for new dimensions in which life and technology are one. In alignment with the progression of our time, Uniti breaks away from any mechanical interaction, for a shift to the digital intuition expected by technologically enlightened people. Basic configuration. Unity levels up with a new configuration, which incorporates the seat and control unit in a thrilling and comfortable environment for the driver, and is designed for high performance in a city environment. Customizability. Unity is developed as an extension of your vision, your own design, the sovereign pilot of this craft. Unity does not assume homogeneity in humans. It enables complete control over your virtual experience, allowing you, in your own space, to create your own driving reality. New materials. Unity is derived in harmony with life, and not an extortion of it, using advanced materials engineering, but with simple elements such as hemp and flax fibers. It has an organic soul in a premium experience. Intelligence. A vehicle that perceives the world and, like us, attempts to understand it, a bond between human and machine. Its intelligence is there because you are here, the collective intelligence that has made it. It is with you that Unity enjoys such a great place in our evolution. Aesthetics. Unity is a portal between a thrilling vision and the human desire to achieve it, in a way that is clean and exotic, but with a presence that is extraterrestrial. Intentions, to forge a new path, in technology and business, where objectives are not purely economic, in conflict or competition. Instead, the objective is to create technology inspired by life, that is designed to inspire itself in a state of economic harmony. Who we are a team of voyagers and rebels spread across the world and headquartered in Sweden. Together, we possess a progressive mentality and an aggressive passion. We are burned by the same fire of awareness, aspiring for greatness and grasping for unity. Thank you very much for listening.
Hello!
Hi!
What an evening! How are you today? My name is Albin.
And I'm Isak. And
this is Unity Update? No,
not
that,
really.
that was a different one.
Not,
okay.
not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, so we both joined Unity at a very early stage when we were just a small room. And one of the reasons we joined was because Unity is a company unlike others. For example, in the way that we always share our vision and our progress with our community. So our first contact with Unity was at our open house hackathon. And then that was more than 2 years ago now. So then Team Unity at the time organized an event where they showed their ideas and wanted input from the community on different ways to solve problems and just discuss with people. And this was very, very inspiring for us. And ever since, we haven't been able to leave this team.
And that's really what the core of Unity is. It's a purpose-driven company that really is driven by openness and wants to show everything. And we wanted to develop on that concept because we understood that people today do not want to see companies that have hidden ideas that aren't out in the open. We wanted to show the world what we were doing and what our vision was. So me and Isak together grew this idea with Lewis as our support and ever inspiration. And we said, let's build on this. And that's when we created our YouTube channel that's called Unity Update. And roll.
So the idea was to regularly show everyone what's happening here at Unity.
But we haven't always had the comfortable chairs in the studio. So let's start from the beginning. We want to show you the whole process.
When we started, people said to us that we shouldn't show everything. Things that weren't finished. Because then there might be people that tell you you're doing it wrong.
As far-fetched as this.
And you're going to fail. You're not going to be able to build this car, you need to compromise, and you need to set lower goals.
But we thought no, honesty and authenticity is fundamental to what we do. So we showed them the failures. The endless nights of work, the sleeping in the office.
It's been my little room for
3.5 months.
And the monumental task in front of us.
They said we shouldn't show the rough prototypes that we were creating back then. The tests, the hacking, the fact that we were creating things from parts previously never used in cars.
So that's exactly what we did. We worked on a platform that one of our colleagues managed to get a hold of in India.
Importing a car from India.
And the batteries were recycled from a luxury yacht. We built a workshop in a regular office, worked day and night to get it done. After a couple of weeks, we had a platform up and running, driving around in an abandoned parking lot exactly a year ago.
We were also told that in order to design a car, we needed classic clay sculpture experts, people with years of experience, and a big team of automotive designers.
So instead, we made our design with the powerful tools of today, the tools that reduce time and complexity by enormous proportions. We used VR, we used 3D printing, and had a drivable concept in a VR simulator just a few months later. And all of a sudden, SVT was driving it around our building, and we had the attention of the world.
Nytt skånskt bilmärke kan snart bli verklighet.
And even though it was just 6 months ago we were in a tiny room, we'd suddenly grown out of our space again.
So we had to prepare to move again.
You're actually watching the last episode of Unity Update that's going to be recorded in this room.
Working in a startup, you quickly realize that you have to become a master of all trades. Because not only did we carry all the boxes ourselves, we also did a complete refurbishment ourselves.
Now we're going to start removing the walls.
Before we got to move in and could continue working on the car. Now this could have taken years, it could have been very expensive, but we were done within a month and it cost us barely anything. And all this really encapsulates who we are.
When the office was done, we had to make a workshop. So we drove around Sweden and found mills and lathes and a gigantic 5-axis CNC.
And after some battling with this machine, we could get started again. The first step was now to host an event with 2 different designs to let a large group of people give feedback.
It's great. I love the cars.
Yes, I would buy one.
And that's really what this generation is all about. The ability to adapt, fast change, agile movement with support from a global community.
But anyway, we worked with the painting of these models 2 hours into the event while the guests were still waiting. And this is one of the amazing things with Unity. We've so far made all our deadlines, but literally on the hour. And tonight is no exception.
Then we were told, after a year you should have more actual car.
But if you're inventing a car, you don't start by building it. Building it is the last thing you do. You start by inventing it. And we don't just want to build a prototype, we want to build a vehicle on mass scale. So to bring this to reality, we went around the globe and made sure we had the partnerships and connections needed.
Connections with some of the leading companies like Siemens and KUKA Robotics. We even modified a robot and brought it to Berlin, on stage, before Steve Wozniak.
Who would ever build an electric car large?
And then Sweden's Vice Prime Minister was in the building to see what we needed.
Back home, our prototypes kept improving and converging to our product. And we continued our openness with our very own crowdfunding campaign, which finished within the last weeks.
6 days ago, we didn't know we were going to have a crowdfunding campaign on our own site. 6 days later, we have a crowdfunding campaign on our own site.
This help has been so valuable, so to everyone out there, we would have been nothing without you.
And what's been clear throughout all these episodes.
Hi, welcome back to Unity Update. Back to Unity Update 8, episode 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
16 is that we've shown the world that openness is key.
We would never have got to this event. We had to show everything we were doing, why we were doing it, show everyone involved, and show what Team Unity really is.
And there is something to learn from all this. All we really did was ask, do you want to change something? Do you want to help? Do you want to join our team? Do you want to build a car? All you have to do is ask and be open about it.
Wow. Yeah, you have to imagine normally we are at our office and we are developing a car and working on our brand design strategy or just folding 15,000 of Unity's marquee booklets. Yeah. So, and of course, encourage each other because the last months, weeks, and days were super, super intense, and we were really working hard. And one of the reasons is because we not accepting just a yes or even a no. We're always, I think, yes, always we are aiming a wow. And exactly this wow effect is what we carry within ourselves. And it's a kind of common mission which unites us. And of course, we spread it out, or we try. I guess all of you feeling a bit wow today. So I definitely do. Because this wow moment or wow effect makes absolutely sense. This includes, for example, also the design of the brand. So in my point of view, the brand design of Unity is a real mean. So it has no end. So ta-ta-da-da-da, here's the brand and finish, yeah. It is most effective when articulating this brand design idea. And I think you will totally agree that Unity is definitely a really fantastic idea. And Unity is also an omnipresent aspect of modern life. It's complex and ever-changing in form. It synthesizes and transmits information to the public, while at the same time reflecting society's cultural aspirations and moral values. Therefore, the brand design of Unity is not just an individual pursuit, but a public one. And we, the entire Team Unity, rely on the collaborative back and forth between the community and colleagues and partners and investors, and to help stimulate and open up this awesome project, which starts just with a student university concept and end with a real product. Yeah, a really fucking awesome car. And this is our brand. And it's based on our values. We are really open. We are creative, we are courageous, and we are good. And exactly these values supports us to achieve this wow moment. We are looking forward to develop even more wow effects in the future together with you. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Mona, and everyone. Now that you've gotten to know more about our brand, we would like to introduce you to some of our key partners. These partners are the pillar of Unity's ecosystem, and we wouldn't be here without them.
First, we would like to welcome Martin Skoglund as a Global Key Account Manager Automotive for KUKA Robotics. Welcome to stage.
Thank you. Good evening. First of all, when I met the Unity team earlier today, I was giving a challenge. And that was to start with the two words that was hardest to pronounce in my speech. And that is entrepreneurial enthusiasm. And I think those two words are very well suited for tonight, and I will come back to them. So let's start my speech. My name is Martin Skoglund. I'm the Global Key Account Manager for KUKA Nordic for the automotive business. And we at KUKA, proud partner to Unity, we are very happy to be here, to be able to meet you all, and to be able to present our company tonight. The first time we met Unity, it was not even 12 months ago. We came down to their office in Lund. We walked into their office. It was quite new for them, so there were paint cans everywhere. There were brushes. We came into this temporary meeting room, and the projector screen was a plasterboard, not even mounted to the wall yet. And today, 12 months, not even 12 months later, Unity has a top modern office. They have a fully equipped prototype shop. They have a manufacturing facility, and they have a prototype. And I think that in that time, to manage all that is very impressive, and it shows what Unity can achieve in the short future. So, KUKA, I believe, because I was not hired back then, but in 1898, two Germans had the same entrepreneurial enthusiasm as Unity has today when they founded KUKA in the city of Augsburg. At that startup of that time, they designed and delivered lighting solutions for cities and houses. And today, 120 years later, KUKA is a leading robots solution supplier for the automotive business. For decades, KUKA has been setting the milestone as a pioneer in open automation solutions for the automotive business. And we are delivering robots to the major global automotive brands, and every day there's more than 100,000 KUKA robots working in the automotive business. But to manage a journey of 120 years, in a very high-tech business, that requires that you stay focused on innovation and you're able to reshape the company in order to stay in the lead of the technology as KUKA is. So, by linking these two companies, KUKA and Unity, together as partners, from an outside perspective, they look quite different. But by linking them together, we see a mutual driving force that is really important, and that is the focus of innovations and new technology. And the fact that Unity starts from a blank paper, or they did start from a blank paper, and that they have a really can-do attitude, and they don't have a heritage of this is the way we have always done it, it creates an opportunity to implement really smart production ideas into the Unity manufacturing system. Because today, KUKA is focusing on innovation within smart factory. And the robot and automation industry is going through a shift towards digitalized solutions. And that shift and the change is happening very rapidly. Digitalized solutions and processes within Industry 4.0 that enables us to create a car at a low cost, and it enables us to do it in a manner that is more flexible, it's more energy efficient, it's more resource saving, and it can be more customized for the product. So we are ready to connect as a partner, connect these new and smart production solutions to Unity, and take a look around. We want to fill these manufacturing facilities with the latest sustainable automation solutions in order to produce the electric car of the future. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Martin. Have a seat. All right. Next up, we would like to welcome Andreas Vogler, CPO of MediaMarkt Sweden.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Unity, and good evening, investors. My name is Andreas Vogler. I'm in the board of MediaMarkt Sweden, and I'm in charge of procurement. And I want to take today the chance to, as a partner, to give you a little bit background of MediaMarkt and also why we're actually here. So MediaMarkt belongs to the MediaMarkt-Saturn Retail Group, and is the biggest electronic retailer in Europe. We are driving 22 billion euros net turnover And we have 65,000 employees, and we're operating in 15 European countries. So from Turkey, Greece, Italy, all the way up to Sweden, and also from Russia all the way over to Portugal. We have, with 6 million daily customer contacts, the most visited retail concept in Europe. And this leads for us to drive different formats because we want to satisfy our end consumer with multiple touch points. So we do this online, in mobile apps, social media, stores, formats, small, big stores, inner city stores. In Sweden, we're a little bit smaller. We have also the multi-channel concept with 27 stores, and we are growing. And the question is now, why are we here? Well, MediaMarkt always wants to deliver the latest technology to our end consumer. Product innovation is key for us. And we also recognize the last few years, if we just wait when Samsung, Apple, Philips, Sony will come out with their new devices, it's great technology, but we are one of many. So we will not be able to differentiate ourselves to other retail components. Therefore, we said, okay, we need to not wait till the innovation comes to us. We actually have to go out and look for the innovation. So 2 years ago, we started a journey where we jumped into the startup scenes of bigger cities in Europe. So we went to Berlin, and especially in Stockholm, into the startup scene. And we have in Stockholm also an office in a co-working center to be close to the entrepreneurs like Uniti. And it's amazing how many great entrepreneurs are out there which have actually the problem to not make the last mile to the end consumer. And that's where we come into the game. We recognized that, and we said, hey, here we have to help with our big platform and our potential to drive product knowledge to end consumers. So we went to those startups, and if you visit today MediaMarkt Sweden webpage, you see under Technic Trender already many examples of Swedish startup companies where we help to bring them their products alive. And a similar journey we had with Uniti. So already 1.5 years ago we met Uniti, and we understood the vision and the idea of the product, and we also recognized this is not just a car, this is actually a consumer electronic product with 4 wheels and Internet of Things inside. So this is more. We need to bring this to our end consumers to be different and to explain that there's a great technology out there. And that's what we actually did. We always stay close to them. We watched their development and how they managed to come so far today that we signed the partnership agreement that we actually are the exclusive retail concept partner for Uniti in Sweden. So from tomorrow on, you will see 2 Uniti cars in 2 MediaMarkt stores. That's the worldwide only 2 cars which you will see. And there you can go, and you have VR technology to experience the car also in a modern way. And on top, you can also go to our webpage to sign up actually for the Uniti car. And if you do that, there's also a promotion at the moment. If you convert to a customer, you will get a free iPhone. So there are 2,000 potential signers in here. Please sign up and convert to a customer. Thanks for having us, and Uniti, good luck for your next journey.
Awesome. Thank you. Looking forward to see you tomorrow. Next up, I would like to introduce you to Eddie Gruvelius, Director Automotive of NVIDIA.
Hello. Hello, everybody. It's great to see that so many people here. NVIDIA, we are also a startup in 1993, where we started mainly in computer graphics at that time. Nowadays, some 24 years later, we work in many areas, and we work with car computers, platforms for self-driving that we introduced to the car industry. And we're a startup then. We try to work as a startup now, and I think it's very interesting to see we want to work with startups. So we want to work with Uniti. We have working with many startup companies in the whole world. I think it's interesting to know that Unity is not a typical startup. It's not every day you come to a startup who launch a brand new car. So it's really great to be here. When we started to work with the whole Unity team, we noticed that we had lots in common. We work in fast pace, want to achieve things and so on. So it was a very good fit when we started working together. And that's something we would like to continue. So I would like to say to Unity and to Louis, the entire team, it's a great working with you. You have a great product, great concept. Congratulations, it's great working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's safe to say it's great working with you too. Next up on stage is Gérard de Bourbon, Chief Evangelist IoT from Tele2 IoT.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gérard de Bourbon, Chief Evangelist for Tele2 IoT, and my colleagues and I are extremely excited to be with you here tonight. First of all, I want to hear a super cool Viking cheer for Unity. Come bien, guys. Woo! En god tid! Woo! Okay. In our line of work, we get familiar with a lot of super cool projects in IoT. From nanoparticles that when injected in a person's brain, these nanoparticles that are connected can actually give a warning to a doctor 30 to 45 minutes before a person is about to have a stroke. Imagine also working with connected uniforms for soldiers, landmine detecting shoes, nanosensors for detecting bacteria in water, monitoring batteries, brakes, charging stations, manufacturing robots, emissions, you name it. This and projects like that is where we thrive at Tele2 IoT. IoT is really about three things: strategy, culture, and partnerships. Without a good strategy, well, projects actually fail. And we all know that culture eats strategy for breakfast almost every single day and twice on Sunday. So, what's the perfect formula, you might ask? Well, obviously a good strategy, a great culture, which we share with the Unity guys, and solid and reliable partnerships. People working together in an ecosystem with a common denominator can actually move mountains. In IoT, there is really no such a thing as end-to-end, or we can do it all. Partnerships are truly the key. Sustainability is also an extremely important topic, not only for us at Tele2, but also our owners at Kinnevik. It's about doing our part for our environment, our earth, our responsibility, all of us working together in unity. As the orchestrator for the smarter world, we provide our partners with simplicity and flexibility in onboarding devices effectively and efficiently in a secure, predictable manner. Security, of course, is of key importance, but also is so understanding what's happening inside of every device, especially those in vehicles. We can provide that visibility. Now, when it comes to connected vehicles, being able to dissect, split, and parse data down to its smallest component is critical. Otherwise, data loads can cause latency. Thus, it's important to separate what's needed for immediate processing and what's needed for diagnostics, what should be at the edge, and what can be processed in the cloud. So, to conclude, once again, I want us to do our part in making sure we support the wonderful Unity team and help them achieve their goals. As we have so many common denominators, not only with them, but all the different companies here, and with all of you present here you won't be here unless you share their dreams and goals. So I invite you once again to pledge your support for this amazing Unity team and the great quest. Also, come and say hi to our guys at the Tele2 IoT booth. We're giving away a Samsung phone if you actually guess the hashtags or the number of hashtags on our posts. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Gerard. There's one chair left, and that's for Ola Jansson. He's the Director, Automotive and Transportation from Siemens Industry Software.
Thank you. Last but not least. Sorry to tell, but I'm a bit disappointed this evening. Where is the skateboard? You did hide the skateboard. I'm so disappointed. So, Siemens is a fairly big company. Just to declare, I represent Digital Factory. And Digital Factory, that is where we combine the physical with the virtual world. So I represent the physical, or not the physical, the virtual part, but we are physically here this evening. I will take you through a journey in speed of light, where we present how Unity are using parts of our innovation software in their product development and production. First, a statement. Martin, you talked about digitalization, and digitalization is key. Digitalization is the future. Digitalization is here. Companies need to become digital, and they need to execute on a digital strategy. Shoot. And the good thing is, Unity is by nature already digital. And what you see here is important. You need to become digital in each domain, ideation, realization, and utilization, and bring those together in a digital thread. Then you are fully digital. And that is what we say, leverage the digital thread, and that is what Siemens provides. With some examples, you need to start with the first digital twin, and that is to create the digital twin by creating a 3D model. In this case, we are, if you recognize this, did you remember the first video when they had this and the sketching on the wall? They didn't have our software at that time. But now they do have digital from the first day. And you can see, just believe when it's customized like this and then put it into a 3D printer and you have a customized solution for the end customer. And we can here present the driver experiences. We can use the 3D model, how it will be looking when you have ordered the car, when it has been configured and designed according to your wishes. The digital twin presents the performance. Now you only see the digital model with the mechanics, but of course electronics and software need to be added. My trip from Gothenburg, probably we had hundreds of this crash test running. Just believe that. And you can also test the geometry, the aerodynamics performance, and see the mirrors on the side is not at the Unity car, so you don't have any disturbances. You can also simulate the flow of water over the screen. The next step is to create the digital twin regarding the production and production system. And you can see here, with our dear friends here, the KUKA robots, we can digitally validate and simulate before it has even become a little tiny physical part in the production. So this is what you potentially may see here within a few time ahead. You can also look at the performance of the production. You can see the performance of the production here. If you add a 4-seat or 5-seat, will that be a second line or in the same line? If you go global, how can we transform this to other locations globally? So this is what you can validate, and that by leveraging the digital thread, and that is what Siemens provides to Unity and all the organizations and enterprises moving digital. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for these great presentations. And before we let you leave the stage, we have a couple of questions for you. We're going to start with Martin. KUKA Robotics has been a supporter and supporting us a lot, and this is something we really appreciate. It's been a great journey, and we've learned so much. And my question to you is, what is your vision for the future of car manufacturing?
It's a good question, and thank you. I think we can start by looking at what is presented today. It's a small electric vehicle with lightweight material. And the design of the car obviously will change in the future, and this will also affect the manufacturing process of new materials and so on. Flexibility, increased flexibility and increased uptime, and decreased time to production, decreased cycle time will be keywords going forward. I think we believe that the conventional straight flow through a production will change into a more flexible process. This can mean that the car on its own can find the best path through the production in a more flexible process. The fastest, the path with the lowest cycle time. And this could be supported by intelligent AGVs carrying the vehicle. But in order to achieve this, as Ola said, we need to increase the digitalization, the connection with the product and the process. We need to have very smart analytic tools. We need to implement new processes, like the one I was describing. And also, we need to increase the use of what Ola showed, the virtual world. Thank you.
Thank you. Gerard, you're from Tele2, and we met you guys recently, and you're doing a lot of amazing work in the field of IoT. It's really inspiring to experience your culture and your aggressive go-to-market strategies. And it's always great to meet companies like you wanting to work with companies like ours. So what do you think is the most important part of IoT in automotive going forward?
Well, obviously, some of the biggest challenges are still going to come, especially in the areas of security. You got to understand that everything has and will have a digital equal, and everything you will expect to be connected. So it means that it's going to be producing data. So how that data is reproduced and parsed and split and dissected is going to be of key importance, especially with vehicles, because you need to understand what's happening at the device level, and you need to understand what's needed with a quick reaction time at the edge. If suddenly you start producing a lot of data that's creating latency or clouding the communications between the devices and the center, you can have issues, right? And the last thing you want is potentially having issues where, a device causes a malfunction in a vehicle, regardless if it's a self-driven vehicle or a vehicle driven by a person. You don't want to have issues where they can potentially impact people's lives. So connectivity and what passes through the devices is of extreme importance. And this is where we at Tele2 IoT made a significant investment on, especially on the security side. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ola from Siemens. You guys came to visit us very early, and then we're just a fraction of what we are today. And the support from the team at Siemens has been fundamental in getting us this far. Your software programs and systems are really, incredibly enabling tools for designing manufacturing of the future. So my question to you is, what is the difference between how the manufacturing process was historically and today? And what is possible with Siemens PLM systems and your other tools?
So lucky me, I have presented parts of these solutions already, but if we look from a historical perspective, we talk about the 4th generation manufacturing. And if you look backwards, we have steam and water, we have electrification, mass consumption, the third is automation, and now is digitalization. So the complexity in the current landscape, that is the time pressure, time to market, to meet those requirements, expectations from the market. Absolutely a case for Unity. The quality, they expect the customize. We have seen the opportunities around how to customize the product. But the expectations are that it is a customized product made for me, but at this cost as mass production. And that is a real challenge. And the flexibility, we showed examples of that, but how to become flexible when trends are affecting organizations, companies like Unity, regulations, etc., etc. How can I fastly shift and meet those quick changes? And that is the key, flexibility. And that is what we can support and what we have shown here today or this evening, how to meet those challenges. So it's going fast, and it will go even faster. That's
awesome.
My view.
Thank you. Andreas, MediaMarkt is part of Europe's biggest consumer electronics retail group. That was a long word. You have seen huge developments over the last 10 years in technologies that have quickly spread all over the world, like the smartphone. So what makes you confident that bringing electric mobility into your store is the right thing to do?
Well, I must say it's not the electronic mobility we're bringing into our stores, it's Unity we bring in the stores. And that's actually what we also realized when we met first Unity. It's not just a car, it's something more than a car. And we want to bring this technology and this innovation to the end consumers. So we feel ready to make Unity successful, a unicorn. We do everything to tell the customer that there's something great out there, but we will definitely not have tomorrow 20 electric cars in our store standing from Volvo, BMW, or Mercedes. No, we are picking this company because it's something special. We don't know how it will continue because, in our area we have worldwide brands. So we believe it can be a big success because the customers who buy today Apple products, Samsung products, I guess in all of those customers is also a little bit a Unity customer. So we believe that there is a lot of interest out there to bring that car to the end consumers. As well, we see that worldwide brands actually developing also on cars, like Apple, Google, or even Dyson. And these are all brands which are in our portfolio today. So who knows what happens in the next 2, 5, 10 years. Maybe at some stage we also have a Dyson car in our store. But I strongly believe on this partnership, and we will make that a big success.
Thank you. Finally, Eddie from NVIDIA. NVIDIA is an awesome company, and you have some of the best computers for building autonomous cars. And what I would like to know is what impact do you think that NVIDIA can have on mobility, with the NVIDIA technology, to potentially enable within the next 5 to 10 years?
I think the next 5 to 10 years in automotive industry is going to be a fantastic thing. We're going to see lots of new products. We work, as you mentioned, we work to bring self-driving cars to the market. And we're working with many companies around the world for that, among them Unity. Why do you bring self-driving cars? What's the main driver? It's actually safety. Most of the fatalities and persons killed in the market come from human errors. So if we can make cars much safer, that's a great benefit to society. And we work very hard with lots of partners to make that happen. Another thing, of course, is convenience. If you have a self-driving car, it could be a convenient way to travel as well. But safety, I think, is a key thing that we want to stress. A second thing we're working with as well is to bring co-pilot technology inside the cars. A co-pilot is something that can use the same sensors as the self-driving cars, but then warn the driver if something happens around the car that he didn't see. He can also understand language. He can do lip reading and lots of things to see whether the driver is awake or not. So also to improve environment for the driver, but also increase safety. So we're working very hard with industry to make this reality. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we should wish them good luck, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So now into the core of what we do. Because we wanted to make a car, but we just didn't want to make any car. We wanted to reinvent the whole concept of the car, all the way from research and development to production and distribution. We looked at trends, we looked at recent technology, and how tech companies, rather than car companies, are functioning today. Because young people, they don't care about the cars, they care about the technology. And the consumer technology generation simply loves their gadgets.
So, how can we utilize that as a car manufacturer? And it's one word that guides us: different. How can we make something that no one has done before? And the number one question we always got was, can you really pull it off? It was probably way too hard for many startups to manufacture a new electric car, but that's what inspired us to go for it. So here we are, it's real, and it's now.
To start off the next segment, we would like to introduce Michael on stage. He's our autonomous system director, who will talk about our tech and R&D.
Not a lot of people know that Unity actually started out as a university research project. Unity has never been about making a car. Unity is always, or has always been, about looking for a solution to problems that are associated with the automotive industry. Salient examples of these problems include inefficient use of resources due to poor payload ratio, increased risks due to suboptimal design of the user interface, a mitigation strategy rather than a prevention strategy to address these risks, and obviously pollution due to reliance on fossil fuels and outdated manufacturing methods and materials. Our findings led us to the conclusion that a new car would be a suitable solution. So we started designing from scratch with a free-form platform. It's basically a car-shaped solution that would allow us to integrate technologies that are not readily compatible with existing cars. An example of these technologies is our full-size heads-up display that enables the use of augmented reality, which in turn enables the use of artificial intelligence for tasks such as helping manage the attention of the driver and increasing overall safety for both the person inside the car and the people outside of the car. Another example is our steer-by-wire technology, which allows one to customize the sensitivity of the inputs or even customize the whole input device, making for a more intuitive user interface, also resulting in increased safety. Some of the technologies that we use have actually been used for years in other industries. Some of the technologies that we use are the result of novel research, both our own and that of third parties. For the cases in which we identify gaps in our skill set, we rely on strong partners. For the cases in which we are trying to do something that hasn't been attempted before, we rely on the scientific method. We conduct rapid prototyping and continuous experimentation, and we'll let the scientific method be the judge of what features makes it into our car. As time progresses, we look forward to offering you more and more of the fruits of this labor. And it is my personal hope that the end result will be viewed not only as a work of art, but also as a work of science. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Here we go. My name is Anton Franzén. I'm responsible for the technical team. Tonight, I would like to give you some insight into what enables us to develop a great product. And not just a great product, a great electrical vehicle. So we're a quite young team. I'm quite young. That can be a bit of a disadvantage, but we found that it's a huge advantage. We're naturally agile. We have an open mind. This means that we can take decisions quick and move forward quickly. And something that we're lacking is specific knowledge of developing a vehicle and also putting it in production. But when you're open and state, we're creating a car company, people will tell you what you don't know. That's just how it is. So people will tell you, you don't know this. Great, I'll find the people that know this. And that's what we're doing. That's why we have all these partners here today. And it's not even us finding them, they are finding us, because we're so open and we're quite loud. So that's how we are working. We bring in the people that knows this best. Of course, we have some knowledge ourselves, which we're always developing. We're developing the team and so on. But yeah. Also, we have advantage today. So building or developing an electric vehicle 10 years ago was quite a challenge because the technology wasn't ready. But because of the recent shift from combustion vehicles to electric vehicles, all the suppliers have been starting to develop technologies and systems specifically for electric vehicles. And they're very eager to get these out on the market, which means they want a product where they can implement it. And as you can see today, a lot of suppliers are eager to put their technology into this vehicle. And this means that basically a big part of the heavy lifting is done. We want to integrate the product. And that makes the timeline a bit easier for us. So we have our ambition to start the beta testing 2019. Beta testing means that we start shipping out cars to specific customers so they can start driving, we collect data, we resolve bugs, just bring the vehicles up to the level we want to have. That's a quite, 2019 is a quite tight deadline. So how we resolve this is working with, first of all, the internal agile team, having external partners that have the specific knowledge and technology, and also having stakeholders that are enabling instead of restricting, as the traditional stakeholders have been in the automotive industry. This speeds it up. And something that I've realized from working with this specific team for 1.5 years is that a small team with talented people and the correct attitude can make a huge impact in a very limited time. And the team is extremely important to us. It's important to me, it's important to Louis, it's important to the whole team. We try to find the correct people, we try to find the correct people with the correct attitude, but it's the same thing as with the partners. They often find us, which is very neat for us. Where was I going? Thank you for the help. So we're a young team. We have a lot of growing up to do. As individuals, as a team, as a company, but we're maturing at a rapid pace. We're learning, we're taking in more information, we're expanding the team with the correct people every day, becoming stronger and stronger. Did I have another slide? No, sorry. No, I didn't. So, right now, we're entering a new paradigm. A really, maybe a bit scary paradigm. We're going from a prototype. This was amazing to develop and actually produce this prototype we have in front of you. But now we're reaching the next stage, putting it into mass production. That can sound really terrifying to some people, but a challenge like that is heaven to us. Thank you.
Hello. So we've heard a lot about challenges today, and I think by now everybody is pretty convinced that we build this vehicle and we can build many more of them. But we couldn't have any really sustainability impact if we don't get them out to the masses. And that's the challenge that I spend most of my time with these days. And Andreas mentioned it already. We have a partnership with MediaMarkt that belongs to Europe's biggest consumer electronics retail group, very long word. And as of tomorrow, you can see two cars in the stores. So that's one of them in Stockholm, in Nacka Forum, and one down here in the south of Sweden, in Malmö. Also, you can pre-order the car on the website. So if you go to the Swedish MediaMarkt website, mediamarkt.se, you can pre-order the car there. So if you're from around Stockholm, you should be in Nacka Forum tomorrow morning at 9:55, because we're starting at 10, so you should be on time. And also in Malmö, in Svågerstorp, and same there, be there by 9:45. And in those sections, you can not only see the car, but you also have a VR experience. You can talk to our product experts, get all your questions answered, and they will help you place a pre-order. And actually, I brought a little clip from Rune, who's the store manager here in Malmö, and who's very excited. Let's have a look.
Hello, welcome to MediaMarkt. We are super excited about the launch, really looking forward to it, and especially tomorrow when we launch in both Nacka and Malmö. So welcome to MediaMarkt.
So we plan to have our cars in as many stores in Sweden as possible, and potentially in other European countries. And yeah, I would be very happy if you're coming out to Svågerstorp or to Nacka tomorrow morning. Or you go to the MediaMarkt website if the stores are not close to you, and you find us there. But of course, this is only for people who live in Sweden, and you can make a pre-order from anywhere else in the world. It will take some time until we reached every corner, but across Europe and in most of Asia, it will be fairly quick. So for that, you go to our own website, Uniti. Oops, this was the wrong one. Anyway, you go to our own website, unity.earth/order, and there you can place a pre-order for 149 euros for the car. And that's a fully refundable pre-order until you really make the final commitment later on. And we take that money, we put it in a separate account, so it's really safe, and you can always get it back in the end. And those pre-orders, they help us with the production design, and they really give you the chance to be the first vehicle owner, and yeah, maybe to become one of the people in the beta testing group. When you make this pre-order, you actually don't choose any options. It's the same deposit for everybody until next summer. And next summer we will launch our vehicle configurator. And that's the time when you get to choose the different options, so the different battery options, the color of the car, if you want to have a 2, a 4, or 5-seater, If you want the premium model or a lower cost model, all of that you have to decide later on next summer, or as of next summer. Because the people who stand in line now with the pre-orders, they will have access first. So that also means that they will have their car first. And once the cars have been delivered to beta testers, and we really know that we have the perfect product and everything is just perfect, then we'll start delivering cars to a wider audience group in 2019. And I'm going to wrap this up with what you've seen on the screen already now. Everybody here in the audience got one already at the entrance. And everybody who pre-orders the car, and that is for people who go through MediaMarkt, but also who go through our website, you're going to get a smart key. And the smart key, it's a small card that you can put in your pocket, and you're going to carry that around until you get your car delivered to you, because this is really the first part of the car that you own. And once the car gets delivered, you can use this card to open it and to start the car for the first time. So if you place your pre-order either with MediaMarkt or on our own website, you'll hear from me along the way, and I'm really looking forward to that. So now we're moving over to the most important part of the show. Thank you.
All right, so we're soon at the end, and I guess this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
I would like to introduce you to an old friend of mine. I met him years ago when he had moved from Australia to Sweden to study business and entrepreneurship in Lund. And during this time, we founded and started multiple startups together. Since then, I have, during the last few years, worked on another big startup called Momondo. But now I'm really happy to be back and working side by side with him again. If you wonder if this guy is a bit crazy, I can tell you he is. But in all of that, there is a clear vision and plan in place. And that's something that is very clear when you look around you tonight.
So we're very pleased to introduce you to the man with the vision and the drive to make it all happen. Please welcome to the stage the founder and CEO of Uniti, Lewis Horn.
Thanks. Thanks. Oh, thanks, buddy. Now you made me embarrassed, man. But thank you, Robin. Thank you, everybody, for coming here tonight and showing up at the event on this cold December night in Sweden. I hope you find this event to be warm. In this moment, have a real feeling of gratitude, I would say. I felt it the last couple of days because an event like this is, it's quite an event to pull off, I would say, for a team like this. And I really just want to take the time to say thank you for everybody that has supported us along this journey, the team, the families, and the girlfriends and boyfriends for the incredible sacrifice made by everybody, and certainly by those as well. So, yeah, I just wanted to say, take the chance to say thank you for showing up here. So tonight, what we're going to show you is a vehicle that we've been working on for some time. And Sanchez, as I call him, Mike, talked a little about our research process and our prototyping process. And really what it is, it may appear to be a lot of chaos. There's a huge amount of creative freedom, I would say, prototyping all of the different possible technical solutions to many of those problems that we see, and some of the usage patterns of people today and so forth that we want to design for in this wonderful opportunity we have right now to change the way we do things, to change behavior, and perhaps change as humans so that we can improve life in our cities, improve life on our Earth, really. So what happens is there's this incredible amount of different prototyping and hacking and creativity, and along the process we work out which parts of this should end up in the car. And slowly a structure starts to form, and we start to develop things in parallel. And there are many things being developed in parallel, and it can seem a little bit complex, but the overarching principle is, of course, to end up at something very simple. Simple solutions that solve problems. Really, really simple solutions. And I want to discuss a couple of them here today, just so that you get a bit of an idea some of the things we are doing, or some of the things we're working on. So this is an example of a 5-seater car. It was actually made for some friends in India, because this is a really nice car for their needs and so forth. But it's a vehicle we intend on delivering here as well. A 5-seater version of Unity, still an L7E vehicle category, so we can still develop it and deliver it for the same price and so forth. But I won't spend too much time on that one there. Now, we think it's really clear that the idea with gasoline in cars is a little bit clunky, and even the idea with plugging in a vehicle to charge it feels a little clunky, especially if you have several cables and so forth. So one of the things we are working on, again, plenty of mature technology out there, it's just about finding the right combination. We're working on induction charging. Imagine if you could drive back and forth, commute back and forth to work every day, and never really have to think about energy in the first place. Of course, you can just remove that from your mind. You don't even need to look at the gauge, because the vehicle and the software is taking care of that for you. And when you get home, you simply park your vehicle over the induction charger, and it takes care of it. So induction, we think, is a given. Now, one of the things that also Sanchez mentioned is the problem of disparity between weight and energy efficiency in vehicles. By making a more energy efficient vehicle, we don't need so much battery, we don't have such the same heat loss problem with induction, and we can start to design really for the technology that we have, which is really what we do here at Unity. There's a lot of crazy technology that looks like crazy technology, but really, it's mature technology. We're just combining it and applying it in a manner that impacts people's lives. So induction is clearly important. Another thing we're really working on here is the big problem, or one of the problems that is holding electric cars back, is this question of, sure, it's sustainable, but where does the energy come from? Because it comes from a big coal-fired plant, that's not a good thing, right? Well, in fact, we can look at the numbers and we can say that even from a coal-fired plant, it is still wildly more energy efficient, and it's better in terms of its carbon impact. But still, we need to be vigilant in every single piece of that supply chain to work out how can we make sure this vehicle has the best impact on the planet without costing the buyer anything, the customer anything. They still get the same performance and all that kind of stuff. So, one concrete example of how we achieve that, I don't know if some of you have already seen this in the media here in Sweden or not, but if you are an owner of a Unity vehicle in Sweden and you are a customer of E.ON, which is one of the big energy players, not only, well, first of all, you won't have to pay for the cost of charging your car at home for 5 years. So you don't even have to think about... Oh, geez. Thank you. Oh, great, thanks, I appreciate it. You won't have to pay for it for 5 years, so you're doing your daily commute back and forth every day. You're not even worrying about plugging it in. The energy is taken care of. It doesn't cost you a dime. Think about that second family car when you're comparing the price and the cost. It doesn't cost you a dime, and the best thing about it, the energy comes from the sun. So they buy solar reserves and they allocate. Thanks. This is something we intend on scaling outside of Sweden and expanding as much as we can, because our objective is to make this easy for people, to make the decision easy for people. So if there's something that says, yeah, but where does it come from? Or how much does it cost? They're not even calculations that you need to make. Second of all, there's a lot of people out there, myself included, that just don't have a place to plug in an induction charger, no matter how easy it is to set up. But once again, what we do is not look at the context of the company, because we start from a blank sheet of paper. we look at the context of the people. We look at the usage patterns and the problems that they have. So the auxiliary battery pack is something that we're working on. Basically, the idea is you have a small auxiliary battery pack that carries about 30 kilometers of range. Now, if you look at the numbers, and you cannot outrun arithmetic, I don't do better math than arithmetic, that's for the other guys. If you look at the numbers, most people, a wide majority of people, don't travel more than 30 kilometers back and forth to work every day. So the pack takes 30 kilometers of range, holds 30 kilometers of range. You can easily take it out of the car, plug it in and charge it anywhere. Currently, what we're working with, it weighs about 14 kilograms and you can charge in under an hour. But of course, everything that we show here today, we intend on trying to beat it. But for now, 14 kilograms, about an hour to charge it anywhere, at a cafe, at home, at work, pop it back in the car and deposit the energy in the car. So that means for the average commuter, you're only going to need to top up that battery occasionally when you happen to be near a charging station. So also this is important for people in countries like, for example, India or other countries where they don't have the same access to charging infrastructure. It is a transition technology to help this whole electric car thing become a little easier. A lot of people in this process, like we've always said, we keep it as open as possible. And we say, what do you want? What can you help with? What do we need? What don't we know? And one of the things they said was, we want to charge it. We want solar charging. So we've done a couple of tests and we've done some feasibility studies to work out, can we do solar charging on the roof? Now, there's a lot of incredible technology that is emerging, such as completely transparent, really efficient solar panels where we can do the whole roof, and a lot of really crazy new technology. But said to the guys, let's just do the math based on what is already mature, available at scale, on a time scale meaningful to us. So far what we can do, isn't that great? It's just under a square meter, not on the roof, not on the whole roof, just on this piece from here to here. It's just under a square meter, and it'll get you about 10 kilometers of range on a good day. And on a bad day, probably not so much at all. But the idea is, you have a vehicle. Well, we're here in Sweden, right? The photovoltaics are not that bad, actually. They're certainly not in Germany. But that 10 kilometers of range, for some people, will be a good option. So it's one of the things, as said, that we're working on. Another one, when we talk about the vehicle being able to generate electricity, of course, one of the things that this company is all about is participation and contribution. So bidirectional charging is also something that it's a fairly trivial feature to achieve, and it means the vehicle can become a mobile charging station. So if I'm away and I'm not using the car, all of a sudden we could have thousands of vehicles that happen to be a charging solution that other people could charge their car off of the Uniti vehicle. So it means the energy can go in and the energy can go out into somebody else's car. Now, of course, being able to access that, identify the person, these are all, again, mature technologies, something we can achieve. But how, if I'm transferring value from my car to the other car, how can we transfer value back? So, I don't know if you guys have seen also, we've announced our intention to explore the idea of developing a cryptocurrency, or what we call a token launch. The idea of a tokenization means that a token or a cryptocurrency is effectively a digital asset that is transferred and executed automatically on the blockchain with the help of something called decentralized applications. I won't go too much into it, but basically what it means is, I mean, for us, blockchain technologies are another of these very, very big enabling technologies that allow us to interact with society and people and companies and transfer value and information and so forth in an efficient and lean manner. So that is one of the things we're working on. You met our friend Gerard today, and some of our other partners. Connectivity is incredibly important as well. So, fundamental to this whole idea of people being connected and things happening automatically is that the vehicles are well connected and we can understand every piece of that vehicle right down to the individual cell. So you don't have to worry, what is this little light on my dashboard here? What's that noise or the rattling sound or all of the kind of legacy combustion engine problems? Because remotely, we know if a single cell is having a problem in your battery pack, we can switch it off so that it doesn't harm the cells around it. And if there's a bigger problem in your vehicle, we can find it ahead of time and you don't even ever have to think about it. Simple. So connectivity is important. I loved the way that Gerard framed that, where we've got like nano cells in the brain, and then this easy one, a battery cell. Now, when the vehicle is connected and all of these kind of things, of course, you should not be a company like us making an electric car of the future if you're not considering autonomy. You heard a little from NVIDIA today and some of our other partners on this, but vehicle autonomy is incredibly important. Now, I'm going to speak from my opinion at the moment. Vehicle autonomy in the context of a big car, like a boardroom on wheels with 5 executives driving through, or a family driving through a rainy New York City. From a technological perspective, this is right on the edge of a complete fantasy right now. It's a very difficult challenge. And I don't mean 99% of the challenge. I mean that tricky 1% of the challenge. But one of the things that we do is say, well, is there a way we can reinvent for this technology and apply the technology in a manner that is directly focused on solving the actual problems? If I'm driving a car around and it is a joy to drive, I don't see that that's the major problem to solve that one. I think the major problem might be that cars are parked for 96% of their life. You're paying for it the whole time. It's parked the whole time. And we must calculate the environmental impact across its entire life cycle. So if you apply that technology to solve or address, for example, the problem of underutilization in vehicles, the impact we can have on the environment, on the customers financially, and many other places is huge. Plus, it is a significantly simpler problem. If the vehicle is in a lower regulatory class, there's no human inside the car, and so forth. I'm going to show you some of what we do today. Now, what was it? Yeah, Eddie. Eddie mentioned about the co-pilot thing, where you have all these sensors in the vehicle, and they're able to make decisions and drive you around autonomously and so forth. But again, from our opinion, or my personal opinion, the number one most important factor in safety in vehicles has to be awareness. You don't see that many head-on collisions on a bicycle because you're very connected and aware with what you're doing. But if we build the vehicle so big and allow you to be completely disconnected with the problem, that lack of awareness is when humans make mistakes. So step one, use those sensors to help the driver maintain their awareness. So what you see behind me here is a very simple application of our heads-up display technology. Full screen heads-up display. You heard Sanchez mention it before. Again, this is a technology that has been around for a long time in aviation. It is robust. But in automotive, they have to package it in about 1 liter of optics, maximum 2 liters of optics. But it's an example of where you take a new technology or a potentially valuable technology and try to squeeze it into the same machine. So once again, the blank slate of paper means we can say, how much of my awareness can this thing improve? I found a statistic the other day that was alarming. How many humans in Sweden die per year because they run into an elk? It's an alarming number. It's in the tens. It's not in the hundreds. Once I said it was 250, and somebody corrected me and said, no, that was 3 years. But an elk, running into an elk, this is a trivial problem to solve when you have a vehicle like that. Now in our vehicle, I'll show you in a bit, we have basically the core sensors are stereoscopic sensors. Stereoscopic vision is what humans have. 2 vision sensors, it gives us depth. But quadrascopic sensors take in other light spectrum. So we can see, the vehicle can always see that elk, even if you can't, even if it's seen through fog or something. With a heads-up display, we can highlight it so that you are completely aware of that thing the whole time. Kangaroos are going to be harder than an elk. So I'm not making any promises on the kangaroo thing, but certainly an elk. We can also do things like keep the information out there in the world so that you're not taking your focus off the road, but you know how far you can go and how fast you can go. It can help you with navigation and so forth. And of course, these are fundamental elements of safety. So safety in our vehicle is a very, very interesting challenge because on the face value you say, well, it's a smaller car. What happens when it collides with a bigger car? Isn't this the best reason to buy a really big tank? Really big car, so that when you have a head-on collision with somebody else, you beat them? So it's an interesting challenge. Now, first of all, we've learned so much over the years about safety, and there are some incredible systems. Everything from the seatbelt, developed by the great Swedish company Autoliv and some others, airbags and active safety, where the center of the vehicle shifts forward to absorb some of the energy. And in our approach to automotive manufacturing, we use, obviously, carbon fiber. It's not the best for the environment. Although, again, we look at the net impact, but some people say, why can't you just use biomaterials in the whole car? And I say, well, we can't compromise on safety. We see Formula One cars that are carbon fiber hitting a wall and people walking away, and we want some of that technology in our car. So the basics have to be there, but also we can think about the problem differently, again, if we rethink it in the context of the modern consumer, the modern problems. So of course, with a lightweight vehicle, you do have certain disadvantages, and you absolutely have advantages. Those disadvantages, kind of mentioned before, we can address with some of these new pieces of technology or applying existing technology into the vehicle. But some of the advantages, there are no small advantages. I mean, a vehicle crashing, this is effectively the problem of uncontrolled momentum. So as soon as you take a ton of mass out of that equation, it is a completely different equation. Even with the mass in the vehicle, even with a 2-ton car, I read a statistic the other day. It said something like this: 1.7 million people a year die in a head-on collision with another car, and all they needed was another 0.9 seconds so they could react. Now, there are sensors available today, I mean, Mobileye and many of these other ones, that can get you 2.5 seconds more, and it's already off-the-shelf technology. You can find it in many cars existing today. But once you take a ton of mass out of the equation and you put on whacking sensors and a big whacking computer, all of a sudden the problem of running into stuff is very different. And that's a problem that we can solve, humans. We can solve the problem of running into stuff. And finally, one of the great advantages of our vehicle category, what makes it even possible for us to attempt this, it is not the M1 vehicle category, it is in a category below, the L7E heavy quadricycle classification. This classification doesn't have that many crash safety, 50-year-old regulations involved in it. So it can be significantly cheaper and shorter to market, and what the manufacturers do is they say, all right, we make an L7E, we can make it cheap. because you solve a billion-dollar problem. What we do is look at this and go, wow, this is an opportunity to not just eliminate safety, but to reinvent safety. But in that process of reinvention, it is our intention to work with people to contribute to more robust regulations for this vehicle category, because it is much better suited to the era of electric driving. The bigger regulatory class is so restrictive. It says things like, you must have a steering column lock, which effectively defines that you must have a steering column and a steering wheel, just as a simple example. But in this regulatory class, it's not there. So if we can develop a machine that is more safe and contribute to more safe regulations, then we have an opportunity to shift to a vehicle class that makes more sense. Now, it's an EU class. It's already adopted or compatible with India, Israel, and by making this a more robust regulation, we're working hard to get it approved in places like Australia, the United States, and so forth, because it makes sense. And that's what we like to do. Alrighty. That's the end of what we're working on. You guys ready to see the car? All right. Okie dokie, let's take a look at the car. Do I walk up here now? I want to tell you guys a great story, a funny story from tonight, especially on the topic of safety, because the plan here was to have this machine driving out on stage autonomously. Hey, man. Driving out on stage autonomously, and we tested it, and I was happy. I was happy. I said, this is going to be totally fine. But I got a lot of Swedes in the team, and these guys are not happy with a single pixel of risk. And I said, look, we'll just bring it out there, and most of you have seen it driving autonomously, and you'll see it next year. So just put it out on stage, and we'll take a look. Before I take this sheet off, I want to once again take the opportunity to say thank you to everybody that has supported us. Thank you so much to the team that built this. Please don't get the impression that I built this, because I didn't build it. This incredible team that sacrificed so much, worked so hard, their families, their girlfriends and boyfriends and so forth, all of those people, the partners and investors and all of those people here today, thank you so much. And on behalf of the team, I am just a messenger. I hope you like their work. Let's take a look. All right. Awesome. All right. Awesome. Awesome. I love this car. Wow. So there was a lot of work that went into this, and we overcame a lot of challenges. They pale in comparison to the challenges that stand ahead of us. And as Sanchez said, these are part of the reason why we're here. So let me walk you around the car. Let's come back here a little, buddy. So first of all, we start with our storage system. Of course, this is the two-seater model designed primarily for commuters or the second family car if you commute a lot, or perhaps millennials or someone like me. I would love to have an electric car. I just don't want to have 2 tons of machinery in my life, my private life. There's other machinery. So what we do is we look at your actual usage patterns, and we say, how much storage do you need? Tap the button on the back, or if you have shopping bags, use the sensor and pop your whatever you're carrying in the boot. You'll notice this design here, other than being, in my opinion, in my very biased opinion, very pretty, there is a clear purpose behind it. Now, our process for developing this means that instead of doing it in silos, we do it in a very integrated manner. So we bring in manufacturing people, experts, our own manufacturing guys, composite guys, guys that build the molds and so forth, marketing and the product development, everybody into virtual reality and into the prototyping process so that we can build this. It turns out to look very clean, but something that is really simple to manufacture at scale, but also, of course, in the problem of battery efficiency, you need to look at 3 key variables. Obviously, weight. That is a no-brainer. If it's an electric car, thank you, Steve Wozniak, it should be light. Secondly, the drag coefficient. Needs to have a good drag coefficient, and Ulla Jansson demonstrated a little of that today. And thirdly, roll resistance. But drag coefficient is what this here is all about. We didn't even, I mean, these rims, some of the people here's favorite thing, but the rims were designed like that initially because we didn't want to continue the wagon wheel thing. We thought it's kind of time to move on from the wagon wheel thing in this car. And then along the way, we found some research that said a bunch of other car companies have already tested this, and the drag coefficient is much better. It gets you a lot more range. So we thought, great, we'll put it in the car. Makes sense. Customizable headlights. You charge in the port at the front here. That's where you're charging if you need to ever do that, and we're going to design it so that hopefully you won't. You can see 2 holes here for the cameras, or 2 glass discs. In the production model, you won't see that. This is not the production model, obviously. That's going to be unveiled at U18 next year. You should probably be there. So right, we go around the side of the car. There's a little tape here. I'm going to pull that up. You don't need to show this, buddy. Do you? Alrighty, so we're going to go take a look inside the car. Now, also on the side of the car here, we have cameras mounted, stereoscopic vision on the side, because we need to know where the other agents are. Agents is a term that comes from the robotics guys. They're cool. So quadroscopic at the front, stereo either side, and stereo at the rear. So when the vehicle knows who you are and how far you are away, there are many different ways to enter the car. But Verena gave me this smart key today, and she said I should get in the car with a smart key. Everybody here got a smart key, by the way. You got that one? It gives you a €1,000 discount on the car if you convert to it. So you should come here next year. I mean, that's what. So use this to log into the car and also start it. I am going to do this one here. Alrighty. Now I'm logged in. We worked a long time on the way the door opens. There's a lot more work we have to do. But from day one, I said, this needs to be like how a MacBook opens and shuts. So a lot of time was spent on getting that. And we'll go a whole lot further, of course. We haven't covered this hinge off because we want you to see that craftsmanship. I better not sit on this. Alrighty. Oh, first of all, before I get in this car, you'll notice a really big door space here. There's a design principle in Sweden called, let me open this. Right, stay open you. There's a design principle in Sweden that roughly translates to design for everyone. The Swedes don't think that there's people with functional hindrances necessarily. They just think we haven't designed the world for everybody. So we've got to make sure it's easy. There you go. We've got to make sure it's easy for everyone to get in the car, if you're in a wheelchair or anything else. But I'm going to jump in and take a look here. Ugh. Now, the first thing you'll notice is, although it seems small from the exterior, there is a lot of space in here. And if you're spending a lot of time in this machine, you need to have a space that you absolutely love to be in. You have full control over all the lights and everything, and we've designed the storage so that it fits everything you could need just right. I got my phone on the induction charger and so forth. We've turned all the lights on now, but they'll all turn on and off and are highly customizable. Now you notice the heads-up display system here, the optics that go underneath there. We can show you some stuff, but we're not happy with where it is yet, so we're not showing you that today. Plus, we've got to save you something for U18 as well. So this is your optics environment, but here is my steering system. Now, this is not the only steering system that will be available. Of course, you can choose a normal steering system. This one is legal in terms of the regulations and is very intuitive. Don't worry about a different driver's license or something like that. And don't worry about learning how to use it. There is a joke that the guys use in the electronics team. They say, A user experience is like a joke. If you have to explain it, it's not very good. So in the design process, we involved a lot of people, really thousands of people, from small children to the commissioner from the European Union who probably hasn't driven for a long time. And we didn't tell them how to use it. We just put them in the VR and off they go. They got to grab the system and just drive back and forth. Now, you will notice there's not a lot of buttons on the dashboard. Buttons are not good for the environment. They're pretty expensive. There's a lot of them. I made a calculation once. There's like 300 million buttons used every year in automotive manufacturing. And I think you all know that we don't even know what they all do. So with a system like this, it's a lot more flexible. I can swipe back and forth. This is a cute reference. This is not the generation that swipes, that pulls a lever to turn right. This is the generation that swipes right. Oh, sorry. Dad jokes. So if you want to turn left or right or turn the lights on or off, you just swipe right. I don't have to take my eyes off the road at any time. I can skip song, I can turn it up and turn it down. And here's the user experience. Let me swipe that one down here for a second. So you'll notice at the top here, there's a 180-degree camera that happens behind me. So I can always see what is going on behind me. You know, we still have cars with a blind spot. I don't think we need to continue having cars with a blind spot. This car has no blind spot. Now, soon you'll see cameras in a lot of cars. They're coming out in all cars very soon. But in this vehicle category, we can do it right now. It actually works out cheaper and simpler in mass production. And of course, we have the cameras there already. So you can see what's going on behind you. Now, I can switch through different parts. Here's my interior customization stuff. I can flip that up. I can change all the different settings and so forth to make the experience really nice. I can look at my media player. We've got some kind of, let me swipe that up further. So I've got my songs and so forth. Looks like we have some Daft Punk. Thank you, whoever put that in there. And of course, you have a bunch of different videos and media player and so forth. If you haven't seen the YouTube channel that these guys have, you should watch that video. Now we're back to, looks like window control, door control. Now you can see I can handle all the seats and turn up and down the windows and the doors and battery status and all that kind of stuff. Let's handle the seats. I can preset things, climate control and so forth. A little bit of navigation. Apparently I am parked. And you can notice it's grabbing stuff out of my calendars here. I have a dinner at Raurakel. Them guys are some of our investors. Thank you guys in Lund. I can press that and it navigates me straight there. Now, there's a lot of guys working on our user experience for a lot of years, but one of the things that Boo said to me, and I promised I would say it, this is going to get a whole lot better. I think it's pretty good, but we're just going to keep developing it over time. But it is, yeah, that's it. So, as you can notice here, a lot of the speakers and everything are housed behind this ring. The ring and the high shoulder line really gives you a feeling of safety because you're sitting right inside there. Oh, you pressed the door. Yeah, watch out for that door press, buddy. It's a touch sensor. So we sit inside here. You'll notice plenty of space in the room in the back. There's a USB charger. If you're sitting in the rear, you have a lot of visibility. And the first thing you'll notice when you drive this car is, other than the space, there's a huge amount of visibility. You have these great big pillars here that really make you feel safe. But there's a lot of space and visibility. And I'm not the tallest guy here. I'm all right. But I'm going to get someone taller than me. I need somebody taller. Sure. Where's rear sleeve? Only the engineers said they're allowed inside. Where's Johan rear sleeve? Here you go. Have a go with this guy. He's a Viking. This is a Viking. Get up here, buddy. Plus, he built it, so you should be able to jump in there. No, I'm in the front. Jump in the front. There you go. You fit in there all right, buddy? How's the space above your head? You know, one of our first investors is this really, really tall, giant guy, and he said, the only reason he's British, the only reason I could afford to invest in you is because I couldn't fit in a Tesla. No shots fired. He's just a big guy. And he said, can you make sure I can fit in your car? Awesome, buddy. Jump out. Look at this guy. He's a Viking. I'm really glad I wasn't living in Sweden 1,000 years ago. This guy might have come charging through your barn door. Now I'll leave this open so you guys can take a look inside. We have a lot of people that want to see it. So let's transition quickly around the car if you can. We probably don't have time for everyone to sit in here. The ushers will help you out. Take a look. But you'll all get a chance to drive it also next year. Take a look. There you go. Awesome. The 5-seater is going to have a suicide door here, what's called a suicide door. It opens out like this, similar to a BMW i3. So there you go. That's our evaluation prototype number 1. We have a lot of development work to do on this vehicle, certainly to get the product to a state where we think it's perfect, and certainly to get that into mass production in the most lean and effective manner in which we can make the price good for everybody and pass that value on to you, of course, in the form of a decent price. I'm not going to log out of here, so please don't take it for a drive because the vehicle knows that it's still me. And that's the end of the show, I think. I'm just going to head back up here. I guess it's the last chance before we go and have a beer to really celebrate this moment. Once again, thank you, everybody. As said, incredible challenges were overcome by this team to get here, to build this vehicle and a couple of other vehicles that you're going to see soon. There's probably another one out the back there after, if you don't have time, if there's too big a crowd here, and also certainly one on VR. The challenges that lay ahead of us are incredibly important as well, incredibly large challenges, enough to make you feel sick in the stomach, and that's the kind of thing that I love, and certainly this team. So why don't we get the whole team up in here so that they can enjoy this experience as well. Come on. We're going to end the show with the team on stage so that they can have their moment. Come on here. Oh, nice. Check that out. That's cool. Get on there. Nice. The whole guys, everybody. Everybody. All you guys, come up here. Thank you guys so much for coming to our events. Thank you so much for supporting us along this journey. As said, we have such a long way to go in this space and around the world, and we intend on sharing that journey with everybody. We're going to show you the journey.
Nice.
Of course, you see how far we've come now compared to where we were. Wait till you see where we'll end up. G'day, Molitor. Get up here. Everybody, all of you guys. Nice, guys. Come on up here. Awesome. Oh, there, take that one. Awesome. Nice. Oh, you guys are awesome. Awesome.
I know.
Get in here. Do the cheesy hand-raising picture. There you go. Put your hands up. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
So guys, thank you, Lewis. Thank you all. The stage show for U17 is now coming to an end, but for us at Unity, it's only the beginning.
Just a reminder, tomorrow is also a very important day. As we've mentioned, we'll have the 2 showrooms in 2 MediaMarkt stores, one in Svågertorp in Malmö and one in Nacka, Stockholm. You should definitely go there and check it out. There'll be some great things to see there. But you might need to arrive early, say like 10 a.m., because who knows, there might be a lineup.
So we understand there's a lot of people who want to see the car. I think we will have ushers helping us. So if you can please get up from this side, get up, check out the car, walk around, be swift. There's 2,000 people, I think. Go around, go down on the other side to my right here. Thank you.
Once again, thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next year at U18.